Even now, 16 years after it was launched, it still regularly makes the covers of the motoring magazines. Probably the most written about car ever built, possibly overwritten about. For example, devastatingly defiant in looks. Just light the fuse and keep steering. Uncompromisingly arrogant. Another writer says, like tasting beer for the first time or losing one's virginity, seeing a Countach is an experience never forgotten. Another writer, here we are talking about the brutal throb of a predator, the same that vibrates in a cheetah waiting to pounce on a gazelle. It is hard to find anyone to question the value of the Countach. Even David Davis, editor and publisher of Automobile Magazine and one of America's toughest car critics, is smitten. It's probably overpriced.
Yeah, Hemingway said that pheasant shooting was worth whatever you had to pay for it, and I think that's probably true with Lamborghini driving, too.
There's no trunk space.
None whatsoever. And what trunk space there is immensely hot. It would not be a place to carry a box of chocolates.
Why do people buy it?
Well, it's the ultimate sort of outlaw statement, isn't it? It's in a time when, you know, we've got the Center for Automotive Safety and all of those people on one side and the Baptists on the other trying to sort of corral us and make us behave the way we're supposed to. You can very quickly establish yourself as being somewhere else just by parking one of those in front of your house. It's a car that would just frighten you to death if you had the slightest doubt of your ability to drive it. I mean, to suddenly have somebody throw you the keys and say, would you mind driving my car home, and walk out into a dark parking lot and see this thing sort of glowering at you, you would call a taxi, you'd do almost anything, bring in an airlift, but you certainly wouldn't want to jump into it and drive it. The whole idea, the whole environment that's created by that car on a given stretch of road is just, that's another matter altogether. You can't accomplish that in a Buick Roadmaster.
As you may have already noticed, this car is not for everyone. The doors are a wondrous piece of engineering, but getting in can require a certain degree of agility. The windows open to mere slits through which you can't even toss a token into a toll booth. As for the rear window, if you can call it that, forget reversing without the aid of someone to direct you, or do what the test drivers do. Heads up, bottoms out. If you can live without those little compromises to comfort and safety, and have the cash, you might just fall in love with this little number. One writer says, it is not what the Countach can do for you that counts, but what it does to others. That is certainly true. Anywhere the Countach goes, it stops traffic dead. Even right here in Sant'Agata, where the car is built, the presence of one is an event.
Costa di meno, costerà 250. Ma prima, perché aprite?
Or the streets of Manhattan, even the most jaded people on earth stop and gawk with respect and envy and awe.
I love this car, man. I love this car.
And misinformation.
Oh shit, you got a jacuzzi in the back.
Yeah? See that red button over there? It says eject. But you eject the other way, you know, for you.
Yo, fellas, anybody want to take a ride? The keys are in it. Oh, the guy must not know New York too well, man, to be leaving keys in the back. He can do that.
It is the toy for the man who has everything. So, of course, the man who does have everything, the millionaire publisher, balloonist, oldest and richest Hell's Angel on earth, Malcolm Forbes, has one. How do New Yorkers respond to it when you bring it into town?
They respond the same way you and I would if we saw one. They stop, they whistle. Cars pull up beside you, and whether they're in a Cadillac or an old pickup truck, they whistle. They roll the window down. They say,
What's the name of this car?
how much? You know, and you go by and you get a toot from other cars, and they give you the sign. Isn't it great? Everybody shares enthusiasm for the car. People don't resent it like they do, say, a stretch limousine that takes 10 minutes to get around the corner, and the tinted dark glasses, all, you know, all the crap. Yeah. There's nothing junky about this. There's nothing put on about it. It's pure.
I firmly believe that everyone who is worth anything at all should own a 12-cylinder car before they die, because there's nothing else like it. It's just one of the great operatic experiences of all time. It's a real noise, and there's nothing else like it. It'll take your breath away.
This machine makes no practical sense whatsoever, but it's more than just status symbol. Not a jewel to be stroked and admired, it's a tool to be used, and when properly used, it connects the driver to a great Italian tradition of technology and design. It brings out the Italian in us.